Welcome again, modelers. TrekWorks here with you. Well, I haven't done a review in a little while, so I thought I'd do this one. This one is the brand new, just released Star Trek Romulan Warbird by AMT Round 2 Models. This one is in 1/3200 scale. It's a re-release from an earlier version. I don't know if there's been any changes done to it or not, but this is a nice model. I've always kind of had a liking for this ship. I always thought they looked really cool in the next generation, especially with all the lights and everything that they have on them, and they're supposed to be gigantic ships on the show. I think they're even bigger than the Enterprise D. So yeah, this one's nice. It's about a foot, a little over a foot long when it's fully assembled. And I'll come back here in just a second and I'll show you what's under the lid of this new model kit. Okay, well, let's take a look at what's under the lid of this new kit. We have here, I'll start off by moving everything off to the side here and start with the main hull here. You can see that you've got the standard hull assembly, and this is the upper and lower halves of the top and the bottom. They just basically go together in halves. There's the hole drilled on the bottom of this lower piece here for the standard stand that I'll show you here in a second. There's some nice detail on these parts. You can see there's some nice engraving here. These details all look nice and fine and crisp. You can see the classic Romulan kind of bird feather effect here going around. And on the bottom side of this piece you have the same thing with some nice just panel detail, and these really nice recessed areas here have got a lot of intricate detail work that's done in there, so they look pretty nice. And basically the same thing here on these two parts. And so those are nice. Those are detailed pretty nice. This is a very basic kit, not that many parts at all. Here's the forward section with the warp engines. I always thought this forward section looked really cool, like an old jousting helmet or something. Really looks neat. And these ships were just, like I said, they were huge compared to the Enterprise D when you see it in the show. It's just a gigantic ship. And so pretty neat. But these basic parts here are what we're used to. Two halves for the warp nacelles, the tail section, and the forward section going together in two halves. I'll show you the instruction sheet here. It's kind of a small sheet. Basic assembly, assembly of the two warp halves, the forward section in two halves attaches directly to the front of the main hull area, and then you put that on top of the warp nacelle and attach the bottom half, and you're basically done with the assembly. And then it attaches onto the stand. And on the back here we have the paint suggestions and the decal numbering for all those windows that need to go on this. I'm going to be lighting this model, so I'm going to be doing a lot of drilling. It'll be pretty tough to get the windows as small as they really should be on this, because the smallest drill bit that I have is pretty darn tiny. It's almost paper thin, and it'll break really easy, but I'll try to do the best I can. Probably go in here and do most of these and maybe leave some of them unlit and do some of it with decal and some of it with actual drilling out the holes. And one of the other things that they give you with this kit, you can see, is that you have your basic clear parts here for the warp flux chiller grills and the little areas at the front. I guess, I don't know if the Romulans call them Bussard collectors, but basically the same thing at the front of the warp nacelle. And then you get this extra set now that's molded in glow-in-the-dark material, so that you can, if you don't light the model, you can at least get some of the effect of that green glow coming from the warp nacelle. So that's kind of cool. And but so there it is. This again is in 1/3200 scale. Builds out to a little over a foot long. I'm going to do this one up. I'm entering this one in the Scale Model Addict Spring Build-Up Contest. I was a little late on the Reliant. Didn't get started on that one. I actually started a little bit before the contest took off, so I couldn't do the Reliant, but this will be a fun ship to do, and I'm going to light it and do some nice airbrush paint detail on it and things like that, and I should be able to knock this one out in time, hopefully, and get started on it today. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the review, and this is a nice little ship. I've always been kind of a fan of this ship. Like I said, I always thought it looked pretty neat, and nice to see that Round 2's re-released another one of these great classic Star Trek kits. Until we see you next time, everybody, happy modeling.